Here in the UK, cannabis remains illegal for recreational use, but, as I said, specialist doctors have been allowed to prescribe medicinal cannabis since 2018. Government's changed its rules following a high-profile campaign by families, including my next guest, who I first met back in 2019. Hannah Deacon, great to see you again. And literally seconds before we came on air, we were remembering how that all came about. We were amongst the great and good, huge business people, experts and what have you. But I want to ask you my first most telling question, and that's, how is your son Alfie?
He's incredibly well. We've just, in May, just gone, we've had a year seizure-free, so Alfie is enjoying being at school, he's creating relationships with his peers. We are not dealing with life-threatening medical emergencies every week. We are not using ambulances or high-dependency units. We are not in trauma, which is where we were all the time before he used medicinal cannabis for his seizures.
And again, that takes us back to our first meeting and our first conversation. What this does for Alfie is it doesn't cure epilepsy, but it puts a behavioural lid so that he doesn't harm himself, doesn't make life much more difficult for you.
It stops his seizures.
Yeah.
I mean, basically that's what happened. Before he was using medicinal cannabis products, he was on 5 anti-epileptics and having weekly seizures which were requiring hospitalisation. He's now not. That's now not happening to him, so his quality of life is hugely improved. And actually, we've seen massive improvements in his cognitive development because he's not having hundreds of seizures every week. So, no, it's not a cure. He will always have a genetically fuelled epilepsy, but it's about quality of life, and that's what this medicine does for many chronically ill people, not just epilepsy, pain, MS, spasticity, Parkinson's. It reduces symptoms and improves quality of life, and that's why it's so important that it is available to people, and currently we're not seeing that through the NHS.
I was going to say that because a lot of folk listening at home would have thought, what's she moaning about then? It's all fine and Alfie's doing great and that's this, that and the other and it's legal. So what is it that you are still pushing for, and why the family, the Braun family, felt the need just 10 days ago still to go to number 10, burdened down with their petition?
Well, on the 19th of June 2018, Alfie received his licence, Schedule 1 licence and his prescription. And since the law changed on the 1st of November, 3 prescriptions for whole plant medicinal cannabis have been issued on the NHS. The reason for that is because NICE look at what's called randomised controlled trials, so they look at pharmaceutical trials to see if it's safe. There are no randomised controlled trials in whole plant cannabis because it's not possible to do. It's a plant, it's got hundreds of compounds. So the problem is it's not a pharmaceutical, so we don't see a framework for it in the UK, in NICE and in the NHS, which is why it's not available, because they're saying there's not enough evidence of safety. But actually,
but if NICE have ticked the box, and that's the Institute for Clinical Excellence that says yes or no to various drugs, there has been a partial yes. Is it GPs who are most concerned? So I'm not sure yet.
No, I think it's quite nuanced. NICE haven't said it's OK. They've said in some cases it's OK if the doctor feels that should happen with epilepsy. The issue is that NHS England only commission, i.e. give money for medicines for the NHS, if NICE approve it. NICE haven't fully endorsed its use because they don't say there's enough evidence. Therefore, there's no money. So we have families like the Brauns who are paying privately. So at the moment, we're seeing a boom in private
and remind us what that means financially.
£2,000 a month, up to £2,000 a month. So I am campaigning on behalf of those families, but also millions of patients in this country who either have the choice of going private or they have to go to the black market. And surely that's not safe. Surely we need to make sure that these chronically vulnerable patients are safe, and that's not happening. So that's why I continue to campaign. Alfie is very well and very happy, but it's not fair. It's not fair that only 3 people on the NHS get whole plant cannabis products and everyone else either has to pay for it, or what does happen, and as we've seen from a YouGov poll in 2019, 1.4 million people using medicinal or cannabis medicinally illegally. And that's not safe. That's not OK. And I think we need to accept that it's going to happen, and clinicians need to get on board, get trained, understand how to prescribe it, and actually start prescribing so people are safe. And that's not happening at the moment.